Welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show, and do you know what? I think I'm starting to believe my own publicity. We could be the greatest fishing show in the world. Right, and because we're getting pretty big now, we actually get some phone calls from people. I've had a phone call from some fish this time. Yeah, Char. Now, the char are a species that even the guy who wrote these books, he's written 3 trout books, has no mention of them. They're quite rare. They're very unusual to be in warm water. They're a cold water species. But here at Totally Awesome, in the fishing office here, we've recently had a phone call. Would we like to go down to a Hampshire still water? They're going to stock some giant char. Big ones. There's no real answer to that except, why yes. So, in the car, load the cameras. There's only one way to get down this fishery, and that is fast! Right, we've arrived down here at Char Paddock Trout Fishery. I guess about a mile or so just outside Winchester. Lovely looking spot. And with me is fishery manager Jamie. He's going to tell us a bit about the fishery. Jamie, let's get some insight into this place, because I've been fishing in this area for years and I didn't even know it existed. What's the history of it?
Okay, well basically the fishery was dug out in the 50s by, I think it was my granddad who actually dug it out himself. Yeah, in the deepest part it's probably just around 10 foot, slightly over, and in the shallowest bit it probably goes down to about 4.5. And it's been a fishing lake since then, really.
What sort of fishery? Was it coarse fishery? Did it start?
No, it's always been a fly fishery, always been a trout fishery.
And day ticket or
no, it's been kept private mostly until 2 years ago when we opened it as a business. It's just been kept private just for the family, other than an old angling club that had it but that's probably going back 10 years now.
So in this area, in the Winchester area, obviously there's plenty of river fishing that's around. A lot of that will be sort of private, syndicated.
Yeah.
Is this unusual to have a sort of day ticket fishery that's standard in this area?
No, it's very common. There's probably 10 within a 15-20 mile radius of where we are now. So there's a lot of competition.
And water quality here looks absolutely tap water clear. So I imagine it's either spring fed or it's stream fed. Where does the water come from for the fishery?
It's 90% spring fed. It's we get a bit coming off the watercress beds. That's why our water's so crystal clear. But yeah, 90% pretty much spring fed.
So what's the sort of stocking policy for all the trout that go in here, Jamie?
We like to put a bit of everything in it. We stock rainbows, browns, blues, and as from today, char. And we stock sizes right around the board. I don't like big fish, straight big fish. So I like stocking at about 1.5 pounds, going right the way up to the big doubles.
So you do get some good fish. What's the sort of fishery, as we're filming today, what are your fishery records for different species, just roughly, what do they go up to?
Well, rainbow, our biggest so far is just under 17. Brown, we've got, I think the biggest brown we've had out's about 11 so far.
That's good fish, yeah.
Blue trout is about 9.5. And obviously char.
Unknown,
we'll say, yeah.
And also, I hear there is a big brown residing in her at the moment. Is it about 12, 14 pounds?
It's about 14 when we put it in, so I'm guessing it's lost a little bit of weight now. But it's it's been hooked and lost a few times, so it's a bit streetwise.
I imagine, yeah. Now, with the browns, do they tend to go down near the bottom, near the springs and the cooler water? Are they tougher to catch?
They are harder to catch because they're a bit they're a bit more fussy about what they eat. The rainbows will tend to go for anything, whereas the browns want something that looks more natural. But other than that, they depends on the weather.
Now, what about your actual basic feed that's in there? You got insect life, or there sticklebacks? What do they feed on? What sort of food is in there for them?
It's all the little shrimps, the gammarus mostly, leeches, the freshwater snails. There's but yeah, mostly the gammarus.
Okay. Do you get a mayfly hatch here?
Not a good one. Get a few, but not a good one.
Why is that? Because I thought that would be prime mayfly area.
I don't know too much about it, to be honest, but it's we get one or two, but I think it's more of a river thing from what I understand about it.
Can you get a bit of dry fly action? I mean, we got a really cold, breezy day today, but do you get a bit of surface action up?
Yeah, we do in the either sort of early morning or sort of early evening. We get a lot of fun on the dry flies.
So if anglers turn up, it's definitely worth sort of hanging on.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have some good fun, some good days on the dry fly.
So it looks all fairly modern, as you say. It's only built a couple of years ago. So what's the basic facilities for the anglers here?
We've basically got everything, you know. We've got bits where you can do your own refreshments. We do food for people when they want it. We've got, you know, toilets, everything you could need really.
And a nice patio area, a nice decking area there.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a nice decking area, which is good if we ever get any summer.
Yeah, exactly. Do you do corporate work as well, bookings? And
we do, yeah. We do corporate.
And also you do a bit of tackle as well. So if there's you cater for the beginners.
Yeah, I mean we don't do a hell of a lot at the moment. You know, obviously we do the odd little bits and pieces, just obviously starting out. But we try and do a bit, keep a bit in stock.
Yeah. Now you've got your other main man here from Sparsholt College, Ben, who also is running on the fishery with you.
Yep.
Ben does what, casting instructional tuitions?
Basically whatever it needs doing, to be honest.
He's a workhorse.
Yeah.
Does that mean you don't work then, Jamie?
I do my bits. You know, I do bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ben helps out with a lot of stuff.
Okay, Ben, let's get you in here and grab a seat. Let's have a little chat and see what you're going to tell us about tackle. So now then, Ben, you're going to give us, you're the instructor. So Mike, you know, my son who does a film editing, it's only his third fly fishing trip, so we need a bit of luck there anyway in its own right. You know, you can cast, but stalking and casting is two different things. So what would you suggest for beginners coming here, or novices, you know, that coming into it a little bit? What sort of outfit? Heavyweight, lightweight, medium? Run us through it.
If they're outright just beginner, what we tend to do is we tend to start them off straight away onto the lake. We'll cut the fly off the hook for them. We'll set them up around an 8-foot leader, talk them through some basic knots like the half-blood knot. We'll set them up on a floating line. This is just so they can see where the end of the line is, and it's a bit easier to lift off the water for them.
Gotcha.
We'll set them up with a nice 6-weight rod, generally 9'6" long, which is about the right size for a beginner and most sizes, unless it's young children. And if it's young children, what we tend to do is bring them down to an 8-foot rod and just gently, you know, it's a bit smaller, generally a 4-weight, and they can cast it a bit easier.
Okay, yeah. What about breaking strains, leaders, lines, that sort of thing?
We generally do about a 6-pound leader, which is about perfect for the size of the fish. We can go up to a size 8 pounds, but generally 6 pounds is perfect out there for the size of the fish and obviously the size of the line. It's not to spook some big fish out there.
Yeah, yeah. Flies, what about flies? What's your recommendation? Any secret ones?
Well, generally, you know, when they're beginners, we try to keep on more the lure kind of things like the blue flash damsels and the cast whiskers. And we get to cast them out there and just, you know, it's a real simple retrieve, just nice and quick and down into a medium-sized water. So that, you know, they get the hang of, you know, they don't have to worry about doing any figure of 8 on the line. Sure. They can just strip out that line at a nice medium pace, and that, you know, if a fish attacks it, then they generally get a good pull, so you know they obviously know then that the fish is on.
That's good. No particular restrictions on fly sizes or leader strengths, anything like that?
We tend to insist that we don't really go any lower than 6, because obviously we have got some big fish in here, and we don't like people to, you know, obviously snap up and lose the fly. You know, in the fish's mouth. So we tend to say, you know, 6 and above is about right. You know, we recommend 6 to 7 is the perfect size leader. So.
And you've got a good chance of actually visually seeing the fish here as well, I imagine, because it's so clear the water, you can actually see the individual fish that you cast.
Yes, we generally try to get the customer to put on a pair of Polaroids, and if it's a nice day, we'll take them for a little walk around the lake, and we'll, you know, point to them and say to them, you know, this is a few bigger fish.
Sure. And,
you know, this is how you can stalk them quite nice and easy.
Okay, now, the thing I find with clear water is you're going to get sunshine, you're going to get weed. Jamie, do you have problems with weeding? How do you control the weed between the two of you? What's the system?
We don't have a weed problem as such, but we have quite a bad algae problem in the summer, which is, yeah, it's hell of a nightmare really. You end up just, it's all manual labour to get it out. It's just netting, that's all you can do.
Now, I heard this, what was it, a different type of technique you were trying as well? Sonic, sonar, radios, microtherapy, what was it?
It's an ultrasonic pulse, and what it is a box unit, and some golf courses have tried it and other lakes have tried it. There's not a lot of information out there. There's a few scientific papers out there about it. It has worked on some lakes and it hasn't worked on others. We're just trying it out on this lake at the moment to see if it has a major effect. And
sure.
If, you know,
what's the principle of it? How does it?
Basically what it does is it breaks down the single-celled algae within the water column through this pulse, from my understanding.
Like a signal, yeah.
And what it does is it helps to break it down and kills it off. So we've been told before it dies off, we'll get a large amount surfacing. Yeah. So it looks like it's getting worse, but it's actually getting better where it's been breaking it all down into single compartments, and then we'll just manually remove it, and hopefully over time it'll just stop it growing slowly. But
so if it comes to the surface, that's when you can skim it off.
Yeah.
You can get it out there. And what do you use for that? Nets?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
weed nets.
So keeping a sort of a foot on the weed, if you like, is it always like all clear water fisheries have this problem, but that's your priority. So how often would you go out just to keep things under control, to give them clear water?
In the summer, you have to net the lake 3-4 times a day.
Goodness me,
And it's a hard job, but it's the only way you can keep it clear.
And you do a range at the moment of 1 fish, 2 fish, 10 fish tickets, is it? You do?
Yeah, we do it 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 10 fish.
And what's the most popular at the moment? You know, economic times being what they are.
Well, believe it or not, it's actually the multi-fish, which we sell for 165, because it's we get a lot of beginners down here, and especially this time of year, if the fishing goes quite difficult, they don't pay if they don't catch. So
really?
Their ticket only gets marked off if they catch a fish.
So they can effectively come and catch 1 or 2 fish a session. They don't feel pressured at all.
No.
Okay. So where does your stock come from, Jamie?
Well, we get them from a number of places at the moment. Our rainbow trout and our blues come from Exmoor for trout farm. Our browns come from Hook Springs down in Dorset, and the char that we've put in today, they come from Allenbrook.
Yeah. So all over, really.
Yeah, we get them from all over the place.
And that's on a sort of as and when basis, as demand.
Yeah, pretty much. But
Requires.
basically every fortnight, really.
Yeah. So you have a big head of fish in the lake there, then, really.
Yeah, we try to keep it at a good level, so it's not too easy and it's not too hard. But yeah, there's always a good head of fich in there.
Always nice to have a challenge. Okay, guys, listen. Hopefully, we're waiting for this truck to come with his delivery of elusive char, and I understand one of them is going to be up around the possible British record. Nice big chunk. So fingers crossed we get to see it. And while we're waiting, what's the best thing we can do?
Just have a go and get there and do some fishing.
You think I should go fishing?
I definitely.
You twisted one out. Guys, thank you very much for that.
Thanks a lot.
Let's see if we can't get out there and catch a few fish and get a bit of action on this lake.
While we had driven all the way down to Winchester just to get some footage of the rare char being stocked, the chance to do a bit of fly fishing must never be refused. Especially by Mike, who was on only his 3rd or 4th trip out on the lakes with a fly rod. Wherever we go, the totally awesome fishing cameras are right with us. Because in all types of fishing, you never really know. As the saying goes, expect the unexpected. Within minutes of us arriving, this angler was into a good trout and right by the fishing rods.
And fishing that quite slow, were you?
Yes, I always fish very, very slow, and I try and use artificial rather than what I call these garish.
Yeah, anything too big, yes.
Yeah. So,
Mike was soon on hand to record the event with his stills camera, as the trout don't have to be huge to be perfectly proportioned. Down at the far end of the lake, bailiff Ben Farley was on hand to help Derek Mason net a good rainbow. It certainly looked like a powerful fish for sure, and after an epic battle, they eventually got it into the net. It was brought straight back to the lodge to be weighed in.
Get them on the scales, just zero them in. You want to stick with those there? Get them on the scales.
Oh. Now you can't count your fingers well, you know that, don't you?
yeah.
There we go. There we go.
Sevens, is he? Sixes and sevens?
is £7.12.
That's a nice fish, yeah.
It seemed that that big rainbow had kick-started all the other trout, and Charles Gray was soon back into action in what I call his lucky corner of the lake. It's always strange how you can stand for ages casting for no reward, and then the trout all come along in a mad feeding spell. Like a heron fishing for food, all anglers know that patience eventually pays off.
That gentleman's just caught another one down the corner, but this one looks a bit different. It's not a rainbow, that one, is it? What is that one?
Now this is a blue trout. It's a good size. As you can see, the slightly blue flesh on it. This has been bred slightly different with selective breeding to make it go the bluish colour instead of the rainbow stripes. I'm just going to weigh it now. Zero him up and see how much he weighs.
So it's got no vermilion colour down the flanks at all?
No, none at all. It's just different colours. There's some are stronger than others because it's through selective breeding, and this one is quite clearly a nice looking blue trout. You can also tell by the paleness of the thing here and the eyes.
And they've got that blue tinge in the eyes there?
Yes, they have. And it weighs £7 4 ounces. By the look. And we get them a lot bigger than this. Some of the blue trout come out at double figures here, but this is a good average size for a big old blue trout. We obviously have a lot smaller and a lot bigger in the fishery.
Well guys, you saw those other fish being caught. You couldn't resist having a go. I mean, you've got to have a go, haven't you? You've got to have a go. Mike's on one flyrod, I'm on the other, and I think I got a Dameron blue on. And I can't even remember if I even caught one before. I might have caught small ones, but after seeing that £7, there's no way this is a £7, but it's a nice fish. And it's on a bonefish fly, this one. We do things differently at Totally Awesome Fishing. Oh, it's a rainbow or blue. No, it's a rainbow. Not right, I can't see that one.
Can't quite see it.
Yeah, yes. I'll tell you what, he's bigger than I thought he was. I thought he was about £1.5. No. He's actually quite a bit bigger. And I could see these fish swirling after this and snapping at it, you know. If I hadn't had Polaroids on, the Polaroids on, honestly, I would have probably not been able to respond. And I kept stripping, tweaking, stopping. And once you can see the fish, whole different ball game. I'm quite good at seeing fish when I see them visually react. Obviously, a lot of the time, most anglers, if there's a ripple or deep water, they can't see what's going on. Except they watch their line go out. Wow, it'd be nice to come in with a fish. It would be so nice. Right, well, I'll tell you what, guys, that's not so totally awesome, was it? Just pulled off at the last minute. But the fish looked about £3.5, but I think it was a blue, so we'll keep soldiering on. But more important, we're waiting for a delivery of fish to come of these char that are going to be delivered. But we just had a phone call saying there's something really special coming in this fishery. A big fish. Well, we're going to be fishing anyway. We're going to stay. We're not going home yet. We want to see what's going in this lake. I'm going to soldier on and get another session down in that bay. Here we go, guys. Totally awesome teamwork. But I tell you what, it's a long time coming, even longer than this stocking truck full of all these char. Is it a dream? Are they really going to put these char in here? And this one's a nice rainbow, and absolutely, let me show you, engulfed the Firebird. I'll tell you what, I reckon that's £5 or so, that one. There's the Firebird in his jaw. Can't tell you how many fish I've caught like this, just one-offs with a Firebird fast stripping. It either works or it spooks the life out of them when they go to Australia. That is. Wow, I see he's every bit £5. Get them down the scales and weigh them, I think.
The water clarity at Church Paddock is amazing. I imagine the watercress beds upstream must help clean that water. And if you use polarising glasses on a sunny day, you're almost certain to spot trout. But remember, such clarity can also be a disadvantage in gauging depths. you may think the trout is near the surface, but in fact it could be swimming 4 feet down. That's when you need to slow down your speed of retrieve and start to use heavily weighted nymphs. At last, the long-awaited delivery of the rare char had arrived with the fish farmer. Oxygen is pumped into the tanks for their journey.
Would you like us to use our nets, or would you like us to use your nets?
No, it's all disinfected stuff. I'm quite happy.
Okay, no worries.
Go from there.
Char can survive in deep glacial lakes with very cold temperatures. In fact, I found a figure of just 4 degrees before they can start breeding. Now that really is cold. Char have been found in lakes as far above sea level as 8,500 feet. They can live in rivers where they migrate to the sea, or they can live in enclosed lakes. As for eating qualities, it's said they have a fat content close to the Pacific sockeye salmon, and the sockeye is the most sought after salmon species by the canning factories as a source of food. In the UK, it's mainly Lake Windermere in the Lake District where the angler has been able to stand a realistic chance of catching them. But now they are being reared by trout farmers, there's every chance the fly fisherman will be able to latch into one of these at this Hampshire fishery. Movement of any stock is strictly controlled, and this fishery had to fit special grills into the lake so there's no chance of any escapees entering the surrounding river systems. Where some trout fisheries only offer the single species of the rainbow, it's always more interesting when you have variety, as you never really know what you're going to hook into. Now, when I looked at a British record list for different species, under Arctic char was a fish listed at £9 8 ounces from Loch Arkaig, Inverness, Scotland. But it had under the heading of cultivated that this category was vacant. So, am I right in thinking that the first angler to land one of the newly stocked char from this lake could become the new record holder? Get yourself down there, people. It seems fame could be just a cast away. Allegedly, the most northerly of all the freshwater fish, I found an IGFA site that listed the biggest char ever taken on bottom line. And that fish weighed a stupendous 32 pounds 9 ounces. It was taken from Tree River in the Northwest Territories of Canada back in 1981.
There he goes, let's get him back into his totally awesome environment. What a pretty little pikey. He's going to go off like a missile when I touch him now. There he is. Pew! Guys, I was fishing a Firebird, stripping it in, this guy just took like a freight train. And I've got no net, Mike's got it. Here he comes. What a team, you have to bring your son with you just to get a net.
Ben Farley got in on the action, and as a fly fishing instructor, he soon showed the way to hook trout. And don't forget, the fishery also offers you the chance to have your trout smoked. Now, that really is a tasty way to eat them. So while all around him were hooking trout, left, right and centre, our totally awesome fishing show editor Mike, the man who really does give all you viewers a TV standard programme to watch, was hopeful. He was praying his fly would be taken. And he was rewarded big time for his patience.
Well guys, it's taken me a good few hours. We've had lunch, we've stocked some of the char, I've been stocked, we filmed some of that.
Watch this is not one of those char.
I've changed about 3 or 4 flies, from big flies, small flies. I'm only a beginner guys, bear in mind it's probably my 3rd or 4th time trout fishing, and he's going to wrap me on his tree, hold on. Practicing my casting and didn't actually see the take.
Felt him,
Felt the bump. I made the schoolboy error of forgetting my Polaroids,
Oh
which
my God.
which you should never do when coming trout fishing. Thankfully Ben, the fisheries manager here, lent me his pair,
The cool pair.
and they definitely help guys. You've got to get yourself a pair of Polaroid glasses. You will not see these fish, and there's very glary conditions today as well.
Yes, get in. Totally awesome strikes again. That's
Oh,
a
that's a
whacker.
nice fish guys. I can feel the weight.
Let's go
of
over
that one.
6. That's over 6.
Could be fish of the day so
Oh,
far.
it's just in the scissors.
I'm very happy with that. That is totally awesome right there.
And just caught fishing blind, wasn't it?
Just blind, felt the pull, gently pulled into it, didn't strike hard, just gently pulled into it. And he's on the hook. Luckily it stayed on, didn't set the hook too hard.
Good fish.
Yep.
3rd fly trip, not a bad one, is it?
Right, let's get a still. There we go guys. Lovely markings on the top of this fish. Look at the dots there. All the lovely spots. Really, really good scrapper as well. Really good fight with this fish. I'm very pleased. It's almost more rewarding. I was just saying to Dad, it's more rewarding when you spend hours trying to fish and you get that one fish. And no matter how big it is, it's usually more rewarding, I find, because you work so hard to get that fish. And for me, even if I don't catch another one, I feel I'm very happy with the fishing today. I'm happy I've got this fish, but I wouldn't mind getting out and getting one of those char.
They were big. What do you reckon? Weight? See who's the closest.
6, 5, 6 probably, 5.5, 6 pounds.
Yeah, it's bigger. I reckon it's
6.5.
7.12.
7.12.
7.10 or 7.12.
All right, let's go.
Let's get it on the
Put
scales.
it on the scales. £7 on the nose, that is. £7.
Nice looking fish.
Very happy with that. Got a nice gut on it there.
It's very deep. I noticed the fish here are deep, aren't they?
Deep, yeah.
They don't actually look as big as they weigh. You know, they're
No.
quite stocky.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, they've got a gut on them, these fish. But I'm very happy with that. Now let's try and get a char or a brownie.
Church Paddock Fishery now holds big char, possibly a new British record, so why not give it a try? We'd already had some totally awesome trout fishing. Now, I think I just better check my diary.
Yes.
Oh, collapsible net. Right.
It's a nice brown trout we've got here. There we go. Lovely markings on that.